Bad things gonna happen to us, but why? You remember why? Because we don't follow the book, the rules.
Bring it out.
Right? So let's read that.
1 Kings chapter 2 and verse 2. I go the way of all the earth. Be thou strong therefore, and show thyself a man.
So are you familiar with King David? So this is King David giving his son Solomon instructions before he died. And he's telling him, he said, show yourself, be strong and show yourself a man. Read.
And keep the charge of the Lord thy God.
He said, and keep the charge of the Lord thy God. So he's giving his son instruction to continue in the Bible, continue in keeping the commandments. Read.
To walk in his ways, to keep his statutes and his commandments, and his judgment, and his testimony, as it is written in the law of Moses.
So he's telling his son, continue in this walk, because how you show yourself to be a man is by keeping the commandments of God. That's what real men do. We keep God's commandments.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
We have woolly hair. So that's one feature. So look at this sign. What, we got woolly hair? That's strike one for this image. But we reading out the Bible that talks about Jesus, right? We said the revealing of Jesus. How you doing, sis? You believe in the Bible, sis? Read.
As white as snow, and his eyes was a flame of fire.
So it says his hair was white as snow, and his eyes was as a flame of fire because he drunk wine.
Bring it out.
Christ drunk wine in moderation. Let's get that real quick in Genesis 49.
Bring it out.
Because what we have to do, you said, because when you walked up, you said you didn't believe in the Bible, right? So if you don't believe in the Bible, how did you get this image in your mind? That this was Jesus.
Bring it out. Teach.
Because the society that we live in, this is what they push to us. Right. So I'm going to ask you one more question. Why don't you believe in the Bible? It don't seem real. Okay, and I get that. It don't seem real because probably growing up, you've seen many people with this Bible in their hand, and they doing all levels of wickedness, right? So that causes you, like, if they doing this and they saying they got this Bible, I don't want nothing to do with the Bible. That's about right? So what we out here to do is cast all that down, because this Bible is our book. It's the key for us changing our communities.
Bring it
the
out.
Murder, the crime, the single parent households. The Bible, applying the Bible is how we fix all of that.
That's right.
So you got that? Read.
Book of Genesis, chapter 49 and verse 12. His eyes shall be red with wine.
So this is a prophecy about Christ. It says his eyes shall be red with wine. So that's why we're reading in Revelation 1 and 14. Let's read it again.
Revelation chapter 1 and verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool.
It says his head and his hairs were white like wool. Read.
As white as snow. And his eyes was a flame of fire. And his feet like unto fine brass.
So now it says, now it's going to, so he said his head and his hairs was white like wool. Eyes was red as a flame of fire. Then it says his feet like fine brass. What color is brass?
Bring it out.
It's brownish.
Bring it out.
Is this man brown? Nowhere near it. So how do we get this in our minds that this is Christ, that this is Jesus, when you don't find that in the Bible when we read the description? And many will say, oh, that's him in his heavenly form. So you mean to tell me in his heavenly form he looked different from in his bodily form?
Bring it out.
We reading about how he looks, and this ain't it. Now this is more close to what we reading, right? Christ was a black man. Because it says his feet was as brass, and you said brass was brown, right? So we all know that brass is brown. There's more to it. Read. Just in case anybody doubts. Read.
As if they're born in a furnace.
Now it says, is that as fine brass as if they burned in a furnace. If you burn anything, what happens to it? It turns black. So what did that tell us about Christ? That he's black. He's a black man. He's darker than me. That's what this Bible tells us. How you doing, bro? How you doing, bro? Come on over here, bro.
Everything all good.
You got some time? You got 5 minutes? You believe in the Bible? You believe in the Bible? Give me John 8:46. You on your way to work? You got five minutes to spare. 5 minutes for the Most High God. Okay, you got it. And I'm gonna come back to this point. I ain't forget about you. Read that.
The book of John, chapter 8 and verse 47. He that is of God.
So it said, the Bible says, he that is of God. You blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Many of you walk around and say you Christian. You say you believe in God. You say you believe in the Bible. Let's see if you apply this. Read.
He that of God heareth God's words. Therefore, hear them not, because ye are not of God.
So we have to be very mindful, because if we say we are Christian, but then when the Bible is coming out, you don't want to hear it. Are you really of God? You can't be. And that's why many of our young men say, I don't believe in that book. Because I see you do. I seen my grandma. I seen my grandpa saying they believe in that book. That book say don't commit adultery. But I seen my grandma with this man and that man, my mother with this man and that man. I see my father with this woman and that woman and that woman. But you ain't even doing what the Bible say do. So no, that Bible can't be real. But we are out here to tell you that this Bible is a true book. It's our history book. And it tells us how to fix our community. Go back to Revelation. Did we finish the Revelation? So now I'm going to ask you again. Who is this? Caesar Borgia. And who is this? This is Jesus. This is a correct depiction of Jesus the Christ, the black Messiah. This is who we have to learn how to believe in. What are some of the things that goes on? Did we finish it? All right, read.
And his voice as the sound of many waters.
So now this verse say what? Like growing up, are we taught to stand up strong and speak with a strong voice, speak with authority?
Bring it out!
We not. But when we read the Bible, Christ spoke with authority.
That's right.
It says his voice was at the sound of many waters. Have you ever been by a large body of water? How does it sound? It's loud. So us as men, as young men, we have to learn how to speak with confidence, walk with our head high. That's what this Bible is teaching us. It's teaching us how to be men. Give me 2 Kings 2 and 2. This Bible is what it's going to take. The Bible is the tool that's going to take to fix our communities. Because what are some of the things that goes on in our community? What are some of the things that goes on in our community, in the black community? How you doing, bro? Come on over. Go ahead. Killing, stealing. Say it again. Police brutality. What else? So you know what? I'm gonna start with those three, because there's laws in the Bible that, because remember what we read was in Deuteronomy 28:15. It said these curses will come on us because why? Come closer, man. You got to speak louder. Speak with some confidence. Misfortune, bad things gonna happen to us, but why? You remember why? Because we don't follow the book, the rules.
Bring it out.
Right? So let's read that.
1 Kings chapter 2 and verse 2. Bring it out. I go the way of all the earth. Be thou strong therefore, and show thyself a man.
So are you familiar with King David? So this is King David giving his son Solomon instructions before he died. And he's telling him, he said, show yourself, be strong and show yourself a man. Read.
And keep the charge of the Lord thy God.
He said, and keep the charge of the Lord thy God. So he's giving his son instruction to continue in the Bible, continue in keeping the commandments. Read.
To walk in his ways, to keep his statutes and his commandment, and his judgment, and his testimony, as it is written in the law of Moses.
So he's telling his son, continue in this walk. Because how you show yourself to be a man is by keeping the commandments of God. That's what real men do.
Right.
We keep God's commandments.
Right.
Now, what you just named, you said murder is killings, stealing, and then you said police brutality, right? I'm going to start with police brutality. Did you know that that was in the Bible?
Bring it up.
Let's get that. So it's Zechariah 12. How you doing, bro? I see you. Come over here.
11 and 5.
You gotta believe in the Bible, bro. I'm telling you right down the corner. You believe in the Bible? Come check us out real quick. Nah. All right, bro. You got it? So you said police brutality. So I got a question. What are some of the things that happens after police brutality? What are some of the things that we tend to do?
Bring it out.
We post it on social media. What else? You ever seen us protest?
Bring it out.
What happened? You familiar with George Floyd? What happened after George Floyd got killed by the police officer in Minnesota? It was a big riot. That was us protesting. We tore up our own. What sense does it make? We tore up our own communities. But just back to that situation. Did that police officer get just judgment? He didn't, right? So let's read that. Zechariah 11 and 5.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 11 and verse 5. Whose possesses, verse 4. Thus saith the Lord, my God, feed the flock of thy slaughter. Whose possessors slay them.
So it says, read it again.
Verse 4.
Verse 4. Thus saith the Lord, my God.
So this is God speaking. He said, thus saith the Lord my God. When we read in the Bible, we read in the book of Zechariah, Zechariah is just speaking the words of God to the people. He's speaking the words of God, and now we're reading it, and we're able to interpret and see what he's talking about. So he said, thus saith the Lord my God, read.
Feed the flock of the slaughter.
He said, feed the flock of the slaughter. What are some of the things that happened to us in slavery? Torture. What else? Killing. Rape. All of these, that's how you slaughter somebody. We are the flock of God, of the slaughter. Because these curses, these things, these bad things happen to us as a direct result of us breaking God's commandments. How you doing, bro? You got about 5 minutes, bro? You believe in the Bible?
No, I don't.
You don't? Why not? Come in real quick, just 5 minutes. I want to build with you. I want to build with you, bro.
I'm not going to say I don't believe in it. That's the wrong word to use.
Come on. Take the camera. No, you got to put the camera on. Put the camera on me. You might not be wanting to. Come on. Come closer.
I'm all right. It's cool.
Okay, cool. So why don't you believe in the Bible?
I won't say I don't believe in it.
Okay.
That's hard. That's a bad term word.
Okay. I got you.
That's not what I practice.
It's not what you practice. Is it any particular? Did you grow up in Christianity or anything like that?
Yeah,
Somewhat. Now, what caused you to be like, nah, you know what? I don't really want to practice that Bible.
It's my inner self.
Just your inner self. Like, so ain't nothing happened. Like, where you seen, like, you know what? Something ain't right about that book.
I got a word from the real God.
And who was the real God?
Universal God.
And has the universal God shown us why we struggling? How do you learn about the universal God?
Just through research.
Researching what? Multiple religions. But how do you come to a conclusion of who God is and what He requires for us to do? And how do we prove that? Because like you said that, I'm not negating it. But how do you prove that to me that He came to you? How do I know that you?
That's not for you to do. That's not for you to do.
So what's the evidence that He came to you and showed you something?
He spoke to you.
So how do I know that?
It's only for me to know. I don't have to. It's only for me to know, brother.
So God is only for you, or is He for all people? He's for all people. So how can you get me to see what you see?
not getting what I see.
Uh-huh. So how do you influence people?
Just,
Or are you supposed to influence people?
well, you don't have a choice in your influence.
Uh-huh.
You don't really have a choice in your influence.
Okay. So I just want to...
It just happens.
Okay, I got you. So I want you to just listen, if you just get 5 minutes, I want you to listen to what I'm bringing out and see if these things attribute to us. As we can look in our community.
I've heard you once. They may. A lot of those things do heard you. You're correct on a lot of points we read.
And then we reading out of the Bible. And these things, we know that this Bible, even though you don't really attribute to it, you know that this Bible was written long time ago.
That's why I told you in the beginning, I don't say
Right.
I don't believe in it.
That's why I ain't repeat that. I ain't say.
That's what I practice.
I got you.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right. And I get you. So that's what we out here showing. We out here showing how this Bible is very relatable to us. And it's our history book. This is our book. Because when you read this Bible, you see the things that happen to us on a day-to-day basis from back to the 60s, as far back as you can remember, up until today. We can go in this Bible and see, like, wait a minute, these things happen to us as a people. So that means that this Bible is more than what we've been told that it is.
That's right.
And it applies to a people that we've never been told. How you doing, bro? So, because we've been growing up, we ain't been told that this Bible is our history book. We've been told that this Bible is somebody else's, and we being grafted in. So that means we've been taught lies. And that's why, and it's no hit towards you. That's why a lot of our people really don't rock with the Bible, because we don't think it pertains to us. That's why we don't. That's why most of us don't rock with it, because we think like, nah, that's their book. Why we reading their book? Because when we read the Bible, we don't see ourselves in the Bible. But let me go back to the scriptures. Read that. Just if you can listen. I know you're on your way, but listen as we read through what we're about to read. Read.
Zechariah chapter 11 and verse 4. Thus saith the Lord my God, feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
So it says, whose possessors slay them. What people on this earth are being possessed? Or, African American. It says, we are the ones that's possessed, because what they did. What we see right here, we under their possession, right? When you look at this image, you see the chains on the neck. We being sold on the auction block. Are we still being possessed today? Yes. We still being possessed. Read it again, because we're dealing with police brutality. Is one of the things that happens in our community on a regular, right? Read.
Whose possessors slay them.
So whose possessors slay them or kill them, and what happens?
And hold themselves not guilty.
Does this happen to us? When we get killed by our oppressors or possessors, and then they say we are held not guilty. They are held not guilty. Because then the man killed George. Then there's a long list of our people that got killed by the police. And did they get any just retribution? No, they did not. So that's one thing that shows that this Bible is our book.
Right.
Because it prophesied and tells us what's going to happen to us.
Right.
Because we are the flock of the slaughter. This Bible, from cover to cover, tells us about us.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you. It's nation time.
And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, His word, and in the power of His might. His word, 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 His word,
His word